If you missed it over the weekend, we got our hero text for our 2 Draconic heroes. So today we're going to take a look at Cindra, Drakai of Retribution, and talk about how her hero effect is going to effectuate her game plan, in essence. First of all, this art is incredible. Livia Prima did this, and it is drop dead gorgeous. Look how cool that looks with the 2 dragon heads as well. But this is our Draconic Ninja. I'll pull it up here on Discord because I don't think Fabrary actually has this version of the card up yet in a way that we can really zoom in. I mean, I think I can click this and then like zoom like this, but then I have to change the bounding. But that's too much work. That's too much work. We'll just go backwards. Okay, so looking at the hero right here, we have a 4 intellect, 40 health, Royal Draconic Ninja hero. She has access to the royal cards that might kind of fit within her card pool. There's a couple of cards that kind of splash in for royal cards. Mainly, she has Draconic and Ninja cards. So very similar to what Fi had access to in Draconic and Ninja cards. This is how Cindra is going to be kind of playing out her deck building process. She's going to be building in royal cards and draconic cards. Now, what does she actually do? Well, whenever you hit a marked hero, create a fealty token. Now, what is a marked hero? Well, you can use cards within the game to mark your target, your opponent. Cards like, for example, Proclaim Vengeance. This card says mark target opposing hero. It is an instant. It costs you nothing. So at the cost of a card, you can mark your opponent. Of course, if you are marking Arachne, it gains you a resource. But overall, this is literally just marking a hero. So a full card to mark a hero. That means marking is supposedly pretty valuable. It's worth a card of value. Now, there are some things that give you payoff as far as if you have a marked hero, which is kind of cool. Like, for example, when this attacks a marked hero, create a fealty token. This is for the Drakai. It's a draconic attack. For the Emperor, when this attacks a marked hero, create a fealty token. For the Realm, when this attacks a marked hero, create a fealty token. And of course, we can also assume that these, marked payoffs are going to come through the Grapevine as well after some of the set is released. But create a fealty token is the payoff for hitting a marked hero. And a fealty token, again, reviewing everything, and this beautiful fealty token is a sort of a card that just sits out on the field. It is an aura, and it says instant destroy this, so you can choose when to break it. The next card you play this turn is Draconic. So much like not Cindering Foresight, much like Brand with Cinderclaw. I've been playing too much Blaze. Brand with Cinderclaw said, the next attack that you make on this chain link or this combat chain is Draconic. This, at instant speed, you can activate it whenever. So pretty powerful if you're looking to make something Draconic and get the benefit from it. Now, at the beginning of your end phase, if you haven't created one of these or played a Draconic card this turn, you have to destroy this. So when you create the first one, it sees that itself is created and it will stick around. Otherwise, at that point, you would need to create one each turn to build them up or use them before you lose them. And that, I think, is where Cindra is going to come into play. I don't think she's, and this is just conjecture, I don't think she's looking to build up a lot of fealty tokens. I think she just gets fealty tokens in a lot of cases so that she can make a normal ninja attack into a draconic one for her second effect. This is my sort of postulation because her second effect says once per turn instant pay 3, sounding very familiar to Fi. Equip up to 2 draconic daggers from your graveyard. This costs 1 less to activate for each draconic chain link you control. So instead of paying 3, you might be able to pay 2 if you already have a draconic chain link involved, or 1, or all the way down to 0. Yeah, just like Fi, you could grab his Phoenix Flame for free. It looks like you're going to be able to grab these daggers for free. Now, this is really interesting because if you look at her art, again, done beautifully by Livia Prima, there are these daggers that are flying out. Maybe she's controlling the Aether to throw daggers, or maybe she's just really, really fast and just throw them all at the same time. Either way, she is throwing these daggers, and they are presumably breaking and going to the graveyard. So if we're kind of extrapolating this out in a similar way to something like, flick knives, where you could basically destroy one of your daggers and deal damage. Maybe we have an effect on daggers like that. More, what I think is more likely to happen is a Zephyr Needle. Like, if we look at Zephyr Needles, there was this stipulation that if it's defended by a card greater than Zephyr Needles base, destroy it when the combat chain closes. I have a feeling that it's going to be something similar to this, where at the end it says destroy this when the combat chain closes. I don't think it's going to require your opponent to block it. I think you're just going to throw the dagger and it's going to break when the combat chain closes. It's going to destroy itself. That's my belief. I think it's going to cost 1. Maybe it comes in for 1 instead of 2 because it's a little dagger that you're going to be throwing. Nevertheless, that's my expectation, is that it's going to be a ninja weapon, maybe draconic ninja weapon, that is a 1 attack or 1 power, 1 cost attack. And you're going to throw it, and when the combat chain closes, it will make its way to the graveyard. Now, why do I think that? Because of the way that the second effect is worded. It would be insane if it broke itself on resolution but didn't break the chain link, right? It would be really crazy if the combat chain continued but it made its way into the graveyard. Now, if that is the case, then we could be looking at some very cool, very powerful things you could do with Cindra. But I think in a way to kind of level the playing field and not go too insane, maybe it isn't too insane, but tell me in a comment if you think it is, I think you're going to be able to play out a line wherein you like attack with a dagger, attack with a dagger, attack with a draconic chain link attack, and then you'll have to close the combat chain and either pay 3 or play out a couple more attacks to then get your value and re-equip the daggers. And so maybe it's going to be like this, use them on a turn and then re-equip them at the end type effect. But if not, if it turns out that on Chainlink Resolution, unlike this card, on Chainlink Resolution and not when the combat chain closes, then you would be able to throw a dagger, have it break but not break the combat chain, throw a dagger, have it break but not break the combat chain, which technically is kind of like Flick Knives, because Flick Knives does not break the combat chain. It just requires it to not be on the active chain link, which is kind of crazy. So maybe it's an effect like this one. If it is, then you can go dagger, dagger, draconic, buy back for free if they are draconic daggers, buy back for free, re-equip them, dagger, dagger, draconic. Now you've done that off of, and you've played essentially 2 cards. So it could very easily be something insane like that, and we could be seeing insane like combat chains again, but this time with daggers over and over again. I don't know which reality I want to live in more, but that one sounds pretty spicy and I'm kind of excited about the idea. So if you think it's going to affect like the cards are going to break or the daggers are going to break and go at the end of the chain link and not break the combat chain, let me know in a comment below. If you think that it's going to work more like Zephyr Needle did, where it breaks as the combat chain is closed and moves its way in, and you're going to have to buy them back, let me know that in a comment below. I'm very curious to see how people think Cindra is going to play out. Either way, I think she's got some really cool overall connections with some of these other cards. Like, for example, this with the Fealty token that you could create if you mark your target, this one allows you to just play your daggers, conceivably if they're 1 cost and they're draconic. I guess these are cards that you play, so this one wouldn't affect it, but it's got the Blood of Drakai text, and it kind of leans in heavily to that, which I'm a big fan of. I loved seeing this and going, oh my god, they put Blood on a Drakai on a card, because Blood of the Drakai doesn't see any play whatsoever, which is hilarious. But again, creating Fealty tokens gives you the payoff of Art of the Dragon Claw, which is a ninja attack that says when this hits a hero, destroy all cards in their arsenal if it's draconic, and that's pretty solid, and this is a 1 for 5. So there are some interesting play lines that she has access to by making things draconic with the Fealty tokens. We won't talk about the warrior stuff today, but I think this is the most interesting payoff in that it costs 2. So if they are draconic daggers, then you would be able to play this, but it wouldn't make much sense. Instead, I think this is where Fealty tokens come in, and this is where just building your deck with like Blaze Headlongs and like, you know, Draconic Chain Starters, things like that come into play, because Blood Run Deep says is a Draconic Ninja action attack, and it attacks for 2, and it says this costs 1 less to play for each Draconic Chain Link you control. So you're able to go like Draconic Chain Link, and then when this attacks a hero, each dagger you control deals 1 damage to them. And then if it's assumed that they have hit, and then you destroy the daggers. So you basically get Flick Knives on a card, which is pretty awesome. So it's technically in a way, it's like a 0 for 4. And then you can, after playing this card and 2 other Draconic Chainlinks, you can buy the daggers back, and then, because they're free at that point, and then re-equip them and throw them, which is so cool. So like when you look at this, it's a 0 for 4, but technically, depending on how much the daggers cost, you could even look at it more like, enabling even further swings after that. 0 for 4, maybe like a 2 for 6 afterwards, but stretching out over the course of multiple chain links. And that makes it a little bit more evasive as far as damage is concerned. So I am definitely more excited about Cindra than any of the other heroes. Well, first of all, we only know one other hero, which we'll talk about in a video upcoming, and that's Fang. But I'm really excited to see how she ends up playing, because I love the idea of throwing daggers. So let me know in a comment below how you feel about this. I am feverishly working on a Blaze comprehensive guide. It will come out tomorrow alongside of a video on this channel where I review a bunch of the different archetypes for Blaze. So if you're looking forward to picking up Blaze, or you want some extra tips to know how Blaze functions, and especially the way that I've been playing Blaze for over 350 games now, check the video tomorrow, because it is going to be pretty important for your upcoming skirmish season. And then, of course, you can tap into the guide, which is going to be a fantastic resource if you're looking to dive further into the Draconic Wizard side of things. I know she's not Draconic Wizard, but look at her art. Let's be honest, she pretty much is. If you enjoy this type of video where we talk about the future of Fab, make the number go to another number. As always, thanks for watching.